Okay, so today is February the 3rd, and I have few things to share today, and I'd like to hear Luis and Livia and Leda's opinion about the movie that they Astro City 2. But before we start, let's go ahead and do our prayer as usual. So let's close our eyes and elevate our thoughts. Ask our mentors, the mentors of this group, the higher beings to be here with us today. Dear Brother Jesus, as we gather here today to learn from the Spirit teachings, from your loving message, and from each other's life experiences, we ask you please to come beside us now. Lead us on our study today, in our discussion today, on the days ahead of us, and through the time when our mind cannot cope. Help us to find peace and calming inner thoughts. You hold us safe, dear Jesus, and please do the same for every member of this group, including the ones who could not be here with us today. Do this for our mentors here with us, for our family members, our houses, relatives, and all of those crossing our mind right now. I have a couple of people who ask me for prayers, as well as everyone in need, for you know them all, and you do not forget anyone. Thank you so much, and so good. Okay, so the first thing that I'd like to share today is actually more cultural than anything, but it is about what in Brazil we call Iemanjá Day. It's Iemanjá, and the picture that you see in there is a picture that was taken in the beach in Salvador, my city, the state of Bahia in Brazil. And the Iemanjá Day is actually a tradition, a very old tradition that was brought with the African people long time ago to Brazil. And as soon as this tradition landed in the Brazilians' land, it was disseminated, it was spread all over. And all of a sudden, for some reason, I do not know why, but in Brazil, and I guess in Rio de Janeiro as well, but it is in Bahia, I meant, this tradition is not only kept by the believers of this tradition that is actually a religious tradition, but that is not only kept by the believers, but regardless the belief, everybody does for whatever purpose, because it's culture, because it is, religious, because of respect or anything. And as such, you will see people or every belief going to the beach and bringing their offerings, flowers, perfume, to this goddess of the sea, and her name is, or its name is Iemanjá. Iemanjá, because this is from, like I said, an African religion that is called Umbanda. And so on that day, February the 2nd, everybody goes to the beach and they do their offerings. And in return, they will ask for protection, they will ask for blessings, etc., etc. So they dress up. Some people, they dress up like this, others like that, others like this. But, regardless, they go to the beach and then they do their offerings. And you see these boats over here because the fishermen, they adopted this tradition, as Iemanjá is a force from the ocean, from the sea. And everybody does respect the power of the ocean, the power of nature. And everybody understands that in face of the power of the nature, everybody is equal. Doesn't matter your belief, doesn't matter where you come from, we are just all equal. And the fishermen, they do this procession. I think that's how it is, procession. And they bring in their boats offerings, flowers, perfume, etc. It's very beautiful as you see those guys, just going to the high seas and, so they can throw the flowers and do their prayers and such. But like I said, in Bahia, is very interesting because nobody actually see a conflict between the believers of Umbanda or the Christians. So you see here, this was a picture that my mom sent to me yesterday. There was a mass being celebrated near the beach where she lives by. And there is this celebration of this mass, and evidently it's not about Iemanjá, but they called Our Lady of the Light. So, like I said, there's no conflict. Everybody respects everybody's traditions and beliefs and such. As a matter of fact, I think I brought, yeah. So Iemanjá can be seen as, this goddess of the ocean, like that, like a black lady, or like this. Who knows? It's just a representation of the power of the nature, and specifically about the sea, because remember, the sea or the ocean is the cradle of the humankind on the planet, right? Not by coincidence. So on the 2nd of February, everybody, at least in my city, goes to the beach. I've been there a couple times, not on the day. February the 2nd is crowded, but the day after or a few days after, doesn't matter. I threw my flowers as well, in a gesture of respect. And as a matter of fact, just to show that there is no really a real conflict between the different beliefs, this procession that ends by the beach with all the boats actually does start right in front of one of the most famous churches in Bahia. So, and it's fine. There is a mass that day and everybody just brings their flowers and, it's a celebration. And an uncle of mine, he sent me today this art that was, I do not know who did it, but I thought it was so nice, so beautiful, because it does represent very well how all these different beliefs and culture and traditions are seen in the city. So over here you see Our Lady, Mary, bringing this flower, Iemanjá flower. Over here you see the symbol of Christianism, right? And the mantle of Our Lady is just, I don't know how to say, it's just wavering over here as a mermaid or something. So it's like you can see the two images. You can see the two traditions or beliefs in a single piece of art, and I thought was very beautiful, because this is about the respect and the love, and more than tolerance. This is more than tolerance. This is about, I do understand, I do respect where you come from. Giles, please.
This was one of the most outstanding events that took place on my trip to Brazil. Many thanks to you all. I was waiting for the rest of the party outside a restaurant someplace for 20 minutes or so, and I watched the people pass by in Brazil. And I have never seen such an eclectic crowd. They were all obviously peaceful and friendly and going about their business, and there was obviously serial killers among them and rapists and murderers, but there was saints among them. Anyway, I wasn't making decisions like that. I was just looking at these wonderful people, the mixture of ethnicity from American Indian in the Amazon and regular white people and regular fat white old racist people, and the mix was just outstanding. I was gobsmacked for half an hour watching I've never seen such a pleasant mix of humanity, and I hope it's a sign for our future, where we get an end to regular racism. We'll still all hate the Chinese, so we have to work that one out. But first, we have to deal with our own groups. I'm sorry, it was something that came through on one of our meetings. I don't remember which meeting, but I made notes on it. It said that once we get over the problems, social problems in the West, and stop fighting each other and being mean and having billionaires and poverty on the streets, once we get over all that, the next thing we have to get over is the Chinese, because they hate us and we hate them. And never shall the two mix.
Oh, dear.
Yes, I know, but it's something that is pretty much ingrained in our Western society. And it wasn't me that thought of this. It was some spirit, passed on spirit, and said that, and a high up one too, said that there's two barriers. One is getting the social organized in the West, which is what we're trying to do, among other things. And then once we get that beaten, then we have to deal with our opinion of the Easterners and how we can calm down about it and start integrating. Okay, well, that was it. Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you, Giles. Livia, was that you?
Yeah, I was thinking there are so many Chinese coming here in Brazil, and they are surprising us. Maybe they are acting differently, and they
talk about the Taiwanese.
The Taiwanese, and sometimes the Chinese.
Yeah.
Yes. Korean. Sometimes they are very isolated. They don't like to talk very much.
The problem is that in Brazil, it's very difficult for you to keep isolated.
Yes, it's very difficult.
Brazilians don't let you do that, so they end up
being different,
mixing with people.
Sometimes it's even laughing.
Sometimes they even laugh.
Smile.
Yes.
And we talk to them, and they start being different. I think.
Well, I wanted to point out that the Brazil society has clearly got near the end of racism and the nonsense that goes on in America. Because these crowds on the street, there were people of 4'6" and people of 6 feet, males, females, black, white, in between, Indian, everything, the total mix. I've never seen anything like that before, and I thought it was wonderful, because there they were all integrated. They weren't making a story about being integrated. It's just the way they've all grown up, which is so nice.
Yeah.
Thank you, Giles. So as we continue, the other thing that the other thing that I would like to also mention today is about this movie that I watched. I guess was the weekend before, a couple weeks before. Is Paul, Apostle of Christ. Like I said, yes, last meeting, I was watching The series The Chosen, and after seeing that, I was very curious about to learn more about the book of the apostles, and one of them that I saw, I found this movie about Paul's life that actually is based on the book from Luke, and I was surprised because it was a very nice movie. And as a matter of fact, I brought over here the trailer because I do recommend. It's on YouTube if you do not see in the regular broadcasting or channels. It is in YouTube and it's free. So let me play the trailer so you have a glimpse of what this movie is about. And later on, I will speak about why exactly I brought this today for us. I'd like to share this today.
I, Luke, send a message to all those that follow our Lord Jesus Christ. There is a terrible evil in the world. Darkness is spreading. I know you are suffering persecution. Faith is being tested. I know you question the way. But I've come to Rome to find Paul, to write his story, to bring hope, to bring light into this present darkness, and to remind us all how God changed a hateful man who will change the history of the world.
Luke, am I dreaming? Rome is stained with the blood of our brothers and sisters.
No!
This is what trust in God gets you.
People are desperate. We're the only light left in this city.
I cannot fix their faith. You can inspire their faith. You risk people looking to me before Christ. The day I heard you preach, my God, I saw Christ in you. There are men, women, children that will never meet you. There must be a handwritten account of your acts.
What do you really know about these Christians? I am concerned with these documents. We've got to get these out of Rome.
Do you think that we are plotting an escape?
Write another word and I send you to whatever god you want.
Luke!
They've gathered men to overthrow Rome.
To what end?
Justice!
They want revenge. No! Why not? Love is the only way. When the moment comes, you will have the strength to do what is right.
We let people die today.
This world doesn't know a thing about love.
Where sin abounds, grace abounds more.
All right, so that's the trailer. The movie evidently will have way more to say, but what I would like to share today with you all is I found very interesting in one dialogue between Paul and the head of the prison where he is. So he's talking with his the prison officer, and the dialogue took place because the Roman's daughter is very ill, and after some attempts and all the doctors trying to save his daughter's life, evidently they didn't succeed. So finally, Paul talked to him and say, why don't you take Luke to see your daughter? Because I'm pretty sure Luke will know what to do. And in fact, Luke ended up being very successful in the treatment and how to handle that disease. And Luke saved the Roman's daughter life. So finally, the Roman was talking to Paul when Paul mentioned something to him that I found very profound and very, very nice to keep and share. He said that the way that we deal with our lives and the way that we deal with all of our struggles is like this person trying to hold such a small volume of water in his or her hands, not realizing that right beneath his or her hands, there is this infinite ocean full of life, vital force, love, and all goodness. So just something for us, it's really food for thought, because most of the time we keep our focus so much concentrated in this small volume right there, we in our hands. And whether we like it or not, whether we want, and no matter how much efforts we put to hold that water will just rain away. But still we struggle. We try to keep that as if this physical reality, this reality we live in, was the true life, not realizing that everything is right there underneath our hands. And yeah, that's what I would like to share with you today. I thought was very nice, and I really recommend you all to watch the video or the movie. Let's see. Next, our agenda. Last week I mentioned, we'll continue with the discussions about the Spiritist book. We will continue with the discussion about the books from André Luiz for the Spiritual Realm series. As a matter of fact, Luiz, Leda, Livia, I propose we do next Saturday the Missionaries of the Light discussion. I told that Elio Giovanni will be talking to us very soon, hopefully this month, but he is preparing a very nice lecture for us, and I will let you know when that will happen. And one thing that I like to do as well is to have a meeting to hold a discussion about the introduction to the gospel according to Spiritism. That's another book from Allan Kardec, and it's very interesting for us who is this group that is studying the Spiritist book, because a lot of what is here in the gospel according to Spiritism does explain what we are studying here in the Spiritist book. So once we finish with the Moral Law, the third book of the Spiritist book, I will try to schedule some time for us to discuss about that introduction. And last Saturday, I also talked about this event that is being scheduled gonna happen in New Orleans, where Scott Milligan, Dominic, Sonia Rinaldi will be there. So if you happen to be available, if it's that easy for you to be there, I just recommend you guys to go. And we did talk about this movie that also is on Netflix. It's about Kardec's life. And I remember I did talk about this grapevine that you can see in the movie. And I said this was a recommendation from the Spirit of Truth. So the Spirit of Truth told Kardec to add this image to his books. And that was a reference to what is in the book of John that says, I am the vine, you are the branches. Apart from me, you can do nothing. So it is a very nice reminder. And like I said, last Saturday, January 25th was the first, was the launch for Astral City 2. And I know Livia, Luis, Leda, they all, Maria, everybody was there watching the movie. What did you guys think? Since
Oh,
you had...
I didn't.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Any opinion about the movie?
Actually, just me and Livia watched it because Luis was sick and couldn't be in the air conditioning. So particularly, I liked it better than the first one because there is a better story, although the effects, right, were not better. The, how do you say that? The technical and the special effects, they were not better than the first, but the story was richer, I guess. The story was more interesting and
More according to the book too.
yeah, more according to the book. And they tell the story about this group of spirits that reincarnate on Earth with a task, yeah, to run, to create a bond with the spiritual world, like a spiritist center or mediumship, and how they almost failed it, and they didn't fail in the end, but they almost failed it, and how the spirits try to help them from the spiritual world, but not we don't always respond to their help. And of course there are flaws, but I don't think the flaws would compromise the work.
Yes, yes.
I recommend. I think you all like it very much when it's released there.
Yeah, it's good to contextualize, because in this book, there's a story that is very important. Something that sometimes I wondered is that the spirit said that from Nosso Lar, some astral city, hundreds of spirits were reincarnating in Brazil with this mission, with this task linked to mediumship and spiritism and so on and so forth. And after many years working as a spiritist in Brazil, I found myself asking, where are these people? Where are these hundreds of mediums? But then I think I heard the spirit saying to me, all those guys that went to the spiritist center, saying they were sensitive, they had a psychological problem, or they had a psychological problems in their emotions, that didn't stay, they didn't practice, they didn't go to develop their mediumship. Most of them were these guys that left Astral City with that task. And now most of us are taking psychiatric medicine, right? To try to to solve those problems. But of course, it's good. The medicine is important, but without touching the causes, which is the spiritual causes, these people came from Astral City to work with and to work on, are not being touched. And this is a problem indeed, right? And the film is going to talk a little bit about that.
That's nice.
Say one thing. The thing is that, which is hard sometimes for us to understand, is that we all have our choices. So we have individual responsibility for what we do. And the more, even if they want to help us very much, and if we are very much prepared, but in the end, it's you and your consciousness and your responsibility and your choices, you know. And so we have to be very careful about how we deal with things.
Yes, of course they respect the free will, but they have so much love to help us and to try to recover us from even from the spirit realm. They talk about it. They don't dismiss us. They help us all the time, but depend on us, as Leticia said.
As I usually say in the spirit release meetings I took part, say the superior spirituality is always with us. The problem is which ones are with the superior spiritual, spirituality. Because many times we are not tuned up with them. And it's also part of our choice, as Lee was saying too.
Yeah, and that's exactly what this movie is about. It's based on the second book of the series, André Luiz Spiritual Realm series. And the messengers is actually talking mediums. And that's what the movie will be covering, is the journey of some mediums reincarnating and how they deal with the, like Leda was saying, how they deal with the task right now after the veil of forgetfulness, I guess. So yeah, very nice. I'm
According to the ancient Indian rishis, there are only 2 real miracles. They say that because when you look around, everything's a miracle. How does a seed grow and so on? You got just, the whole thing is crazy. But they say among those, everything is a miracle, there are 2 outstanding miracles. One of them is how the body stays attached to the spirit. That's an absolute mystery, because this string goes out. When you leave the body, there's a string of light connecting you to it, which certain people can see. And if anything happens, you are snapped back into the body. But how can you be away from it and be still connected? That's the miracle that they talk about. And the other one was forgetfulness. When you get your next incarnation, the cloud of forgetfulness wipes out your memory of the last incarnation. So you can take this one seriously. And that's miraculous as well, because the bit of your, let me see, incarnated spirit that's in the body must not know about the previous incarnations, because this would be very disturbing. If you find out bit by bit later because you are studying it or working, well, that's a different matter, because then you can make a kind of mature judgment on it. But if you were to waltz out of your mother's womb knowing about your last incarnation, it's not going to work, is it? Okay, sorry.
That is easy, yeah. That'll be very easy. Anyway, so as we continue, am I sharing right or no? No, I'm not. I'm not sharing the right one. I want to share this. Yeah, there you go. So as we continue with our reading, We are about to finish the Moral Law. That's the third book. And last time we were here, 897B. Sorry, Maria said the A, but it's actually the B. And the question was, should a distinction be made between the good we do for our neighbors and the effort we put forward to correct our own faults? And the answer, evidently, no. Doing good, we merely mean being charitable. Those who count in every charitable deed they do, how much they will be rewarded in this life or the next, act selfishly. However, there is no selfishness in improving oneself in this hope of getting closer to God, which should be everyone's goal. Hyacinth, please go.
Yes, that's it. That there are no brownie points. If you do something for somebody because you should or it makes you feel good, you might as well not do it. You have to do it from your heart because your heart tells you to do it to help someone.
Yeah.
And that has nothing to do with what I am doing for myself, because I have to, again, it's between me and God that I'm working it out. How I live my life here with sincerity, not any forcing because, yes, I'm this big thing or whatever, or I'm going to do this and, oh, see how much I'm doing. It doesn't help.
Yeah.
Hyacinth,
just
you're a
have to do
wonderful
it.
person, and there's something I need to remind everybody of. One day, Hyacinth was in a bus, in a car, driving past a bus stop, and there were people there. And she said that she saw somebody, and she smiled at them. And she
Oh,
said later, the spirits came and told her, one way or another, that she'd stopped that person committing suicide. So there's a thing for you, Hyacinth. You're a wonderful person.
that was a man at a bus stop. He was there, and I don't remember it at all. I had no idea, but that's my norm. I smile at people. This comes naturally. So when he told me that, I thought, oh, really? Well, okay, I'll smile at people. But yeah, so it was with no thought at all.
Thank you, guys. Maria.
It's very interesting because regarding this issue, the intentions behind the actions. I remember a phrase from Chico Xavier in which he advised that, open, evil does not deserve comment at any time, close questions marks. Not even in those cases in which we were the target of these bad actions. We should keep publicizing them, but rather seek help to forgive or overcome that experience. I believe that Chico's advice is due to his experience that just talking about difficult situations without the intention of resolving them is in itself an evil. I think that, like Gloria said in the chat today, the intentions behind the actions is the most important thing.
Absolutely, yeah. Agree. Thank you, Maria. Thank you. Gloria, please.
Just because it's such a synchronicity, somebody sent this to me today, and I'm going to read it. The presence of charities gives the illusion that we are a caring society. A truly caring society would make charities obsolete.
Oh, yes. Love it. Yes. Thank you. That's exactly the meaning of, there is a, I think it is in the gospel according to Spiritism that says, do good, but do it in a way that your left hand will not know what your right hand is doing it. And when we talk about this, we say, oh yeah, we should be doing the charity, but actually shutting your mouth and just don't say anything to anybody. However, that's not what the spirit the book is saying. The book is saying, as you do good, do it in a way that your right hand will not know what your left hand is doing. So not somebody else's hand, it's my hand. So how come I can, even myself, I cannot know exactly what I am doing? Well, because it is talking about me knowing or doing good in such a way that this is just normal. Like today, if I ask anybody here, how many good things you did today? So you think about, okay, so I did that, I did those, I opened the door for somebody else, I give food, I gave a donation or something. That is counting. That means that we are so conscious about the good acts and good gestures that we do that we are still counting. But there will be one day that we will grasp that idea in our DNA, in our soul so well that we will not even count. Like, I do not count how many times my heart is beating. I do not count how many times I'm breathing in every day because it's automatic. So that's what the book is talking about, doing good without, in such a way that your left hand will not know what your right hand is doing because it's automatic. You don't even count anymore. It's just the way that we should be doing. Sorry, Luis. I just recall that. Please go ahead.
That was me, actually.
Oh, sorry, Lily.
I think we cannot do, like Gloria was saying, we cannot do one without the other very much, because if we start being charitable without trying to be better people, we can, but we'll make so many mistakes that we'll get to the point that we understand that there is no charity without putting your heart on it. So it will lead you to try to be a better person. And the other hand, if you just try to be better and be closer to God, then like the spirits say, we'll see that God's going down to help people. So to get closer to him, we should get closer to the needy and the people who need him most, right?
Yes, and there's a very interesting message. It's a very Christian spiritist way of thinking. A message by André Luiz, Chico Xavier, saying, make mistake or help by making mistakes. He says something like this, paraphrasing: if you are helping because you are afraid of the lower zones, keep helping. If you are helping because you have nothing else to do, keep helping. If you're helping because you have a pride of yourself, keep helping. It's still a dark road, but it's much better than not to help.
Doing nothing, yes.
Yeah, because look, in practice, in real life, suppose I have here 2 plates with food, and one is for me and another is just, free for me to donate, and someone very hungry comes to me and said, please give me that plate with food, give me food. And I say, no, I can't do this. If I do this, I'll be very proud of myself, you know. But I'm hungry, I'm dying. Okay, but you know, I need to give from my heart, and you're just disturbing me, so I can't give you. Do you understand? Yeah, because it's important for us to say this, because there are people that use this kind of excuse all their lives to not do anything for others. I've seen many people in the spiritualist field say, no, 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 I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready. When I'm ready to give with all my heart. And then Emmanuel, Chico Xavier's guide, says, spontaneity, no, discipline precedes spontaneity. First, just like a musician who wants to be a virtuosus, and you need to start the first things, giving here and there, giving outside. But of course, you need to be careful, because in time, if you just get used to donating externally and not cleaning your heart, it will become a Pharisee. The Pharisees were exactly those people. Jesus Christ came and said, you are false, you're fake, you look like religious people, you sound like religious people, you behave, you donate, you're a very good man, you're very responsible, but you are full of dirty things in your heart. Because Jesus Christ could see spiritually people, right? So this is the same situation. Hi, Saint, please.
Yes, Lewis, you were saying that you're like a whitewashed sepulcher, you know, a big tombstone with elaborate thing, and it's very beautiful. But inside, it's dead man's bones. So it's beautiful on the outside, but it's rottenness on the inside.
Yep.
So.
Thank you, guys.
I'd like to mention something here. I saw in a movie yesterday, The Equalizer 3, or was it the day before, that they said something very interesting. The doctor asked Denzel Washington, "Are you a good man?" And so he looked up and down and left and right and said, "I don't know." And that occurred later in the movie as well, and because Denzel Washington was cured some months later, and goes back to that doctor and says, "Why did you look after me and not call the police?" Or because he says, "When I asked you, are you a good man? You said, I don't know," after a pause, and that means you are a very good man, and that's why I helped you. So I thought that was very nice, because when like all of us, we are thinking about the afterlife, not all the time, every day, please. You've got to concentrate sometimes. But we have the karmic, what's it called? The life review. The life review happens. I don't know how does that work in Portuguese? Maria, you know what the life review is?
I don't know.
It's when after you die, at some point, it's not immediate, or it can be immediate, but it can be later on as well. You are stopped, and you see everything you've done that's affected other people through their own eyes.
And feel their pain.
Yes, their pain
em português,
and
Maria,
their
é o
pleasure.
filme que passa quando você morre, vem mostrando a sua vida toda. The review.
Yeah, we do not call review, but movie.
Well,
Yeah,
okay,
yes.
but it's a very touching movie, because you see all the people that you've interacted with, and you see your overall effect on them, and it can be very difficult and painful to watch it unless you got your shit together from an early age. Sorry, yeah. Luis, go on, tell me more. I don't know anything. I'm just repeating stories.
Well, that's it. Yeah, the people call it a replay, right? A movie.
Yeah, the replay. Yeah,
being replayed, and that's it.
Yes. Now I
And
understand.
many people say that they see it. You know, I mean, one of my brothers said he was facing a car crash and he could see it, and he said, "I saw my life." He was only 18, but he said, "I saw my entire life flash before me."
yeah,
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
yeah.
This movie makes the part of the discarnation process.
Yeah.
Yes, when we need to just replay to left behind us, the life is ending.
To leave behind us what?
Yes, then you replace and leave behind and go away to new life.
Oh, it's like a milestone, just so
Yes.
you
Yes.
get used to the idea. Okay, this is it.
Yes.
You're done. So from now on is another
Finish.
stage. Yeah.
Finish.
So yeah.
Then
So if I were in the
now I have a
afterlife,
new life.
if I were in the afterlife and planning a new life, the first question any American would ask is, how much is this going to cost? and can I get a better life if I pay more?
Oh.
Sorry, no, I'm being rude, but you understand. It's an enormous undertaking to do an incarnation. So I can only assume that the conversations with guides and helpers go on for quite some time, especially when you're more advanced. I like to think that all of us here are somewhere over half of the incarnations we need to do as a human. It's just my egotism speaking, because I believe that people who are under half of their incarnations are unlikely to get involved in spiritism. But less likely, put it that way. There's no absolutes here in any way. Sorry, I'm rambling.
That's
but
right.
I'm rambling to the right people.
Thank you, Charles. That's okay. So am I sharing anything? No.
No.
Okay, so we go to the next question. That is there any point in trying to acquire scientific, I love this question. Is there any point in trying to acquire scientific knowledge that only refers to the objects and wants of this world? What do you guys think?
Oh, no question about it. I'm not even having to push my button. Of course, it's a wonderful exercise of discipline and understanding tricky concepts. And there's the chemical engineer clapping, because she knows that all her work here, while most of it is not useful in the afterlife, the attitude and the learning that's taken place help you form scientific knowledge that refers to the objects and wants of the other world.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep. Thank you, Giles. Gloria. Another scientific.
It's another way to be of service to others.
Yep. Yep.
I believe that. I can't give the exact words, but it's like the basic definition of engineering. It's using
and medicine and all the
scientific knowledge to solve humanity's problems, something like that, isn't it?
Yes, exactly.
Same thing with economics. With economics, the standard definition is the allocation of scarce resources between competing and alternative demands. So all the knowledge that is available to us here, we can use to help others. So there's a good point in acquiring knowledge. Yes.
Very well said. Thank you, Gloria. Maria, please.
Among civilized peoples, intellectual progress has received every incentive over the last few centuries. But we can question, how is the humanity's moral progress? How can the scientific progress or intellectual progress to do and engender the moral progress? That's the most important question.
Yes.
I think that we need to think about it.
Yeah, precisely. As a matter of fact, this was the discussion today between my sons, my two sons, and their father. Was exactly that what we were discussing, development and progress.
We are in the material life, need the material things,
Mhm.
need to desenvolve the scientific researches to live well,
Mhm.
but everything to do the moral progress.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Hyacinth, please.
Yes, my problem with scientists is they say they cannot go out with a theory unless they can replicate it in a lab. So they cannot deal with the spiritual because you can't put a limit on spirit. Spirit does what it wants.
Does.
And so
Yeah.
this is a great problem.
Mhm.
And I was on a Zoom with this scientific and medical network where 30 research scientists agreed to talk about the mystical experiences they had had. They dare not talk about with their colleagues.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure that, yes, you acquire scientific knowledge, but yeah, how do you get it for the spiritual world? You can't, I don't think.
Yeah. Does the role of philosophy, that's what the philosophy is about, to kind of create this bridge between the very concrete and 3D dimensions, scientists, and the, you know, the spiritual realm. And yeah, so but there is one thing among the engineers and, you know, all those scientists, they all know that if they do not think outside of the box, if they do not think outside of those limitations, then they will never progress. So they have to step into the unknown, and they have to infer scenarios that they cannot explain if they want to step into the next stage. So okay, so the answer is there any point in trying to acquire scientific knowledge? And the answer, of course, there is. This knowledge enables you to benefit humankind. Also, if your spirit has already progressed in intelligence, it will rise faster in the spirit life and learn in an hour what it would take years to learn on earth. No knowledge is useless, since it all contributes to your advancement in one form or another. A perfect spirit must know everything, and progress must be made in every direction. All acquired ideas help forward development. So it is the answer for the question 898 is very straightforward. And that reminds me the discussion I was talking about, that exactly today I was talking to my sons and their father about artificial intelligence, whether or not we are ready for it. Because if you remember those books from Isaac Asimov, I do not remember if you guys, or I do not know if you guys read these books, but I remember I read these books when I was in college. I, Robot and Robot Visions, and I just, you know, read all of them like in a second. And remember that this is, like Maria was saying, is all about moral values. Whether or not we hold the moral values to apply and be successful with all the progress and new things that we introduce in our daily lives. So the next one, is it wrong to wish for wealth as a means of doing good?
Beg your pardon, Anna, but Hyacinth got a hand up for the last
Oh, I
subject.
should put it away.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
I
what I
spoke
thought.
earlier. Yeah.
sorry.
Thank you.
Any comment on the, is it wrong to wish for wealth as a means of doing good? Like I want to win the lottery so I can help someone or some group in Africa. Or, you know, hungry people. Any comment?
I'll go. Yeah, I think that is not wrong. I mean,
I guess it depends on what Hyacinth and Maria was saying. What's going on in your heart and the purpose, right? What is the real purpose? So the answer is actually is the question, the answer for the question 902, such a desire is admirable when it's pure, but is always truly disinterested. Don't people first desire to do good for themselves? So if I win the lottery, I will think about the debts that I have. Okay, I'm gonna pay off my car. I'm gonna, you know, pay off the debts of my son. But yeah, nothing really bad about it as long as we are pure, we are true.
Well,
Right.
Anna, we shouldn't wait for the wealth to do good, right?
Never. Yes. Never. Never. As a matter of fact, this past week, I was doing the gospel at home, and then I was reading the book, the Gospel According to Spiritism, and the page that it did open, and I was reading the page. It is about the spirit talking about this very, very wealthy lady that is walking in a poor neighborhood in Paris in the 1800s. And the way that she's dressed up is very humble. So they do not point at her saying, oh, there is a rich lady. Nobody knows who she is, but she regularly goes to these poor neighborhoods in Paris doing donation or treating sick people, giving them food, and she brings her daughter. And at some point, her daughter asked to do the same thing, you know, to give some money, give some food, etc. And the lady says that she should not do that for that time being because she had no money to give away from herself. Whatever money she would give, it would come from her mother, and then the merit would go to her mother, not the daughter. Now, that doesn't mean that the daughter could not do good, could not do any charitable act, because the daughter could help her mother with her work, with her own hands, and helping the sick people, helping the poor people, and cleaning the house and doing things and such. So that's exactly what the book was saying, and I just remember based on the latest comment. We should not wait until the money is in our hands, because we always, and as a matter of fact, the Spiritist book somewhere says, and even if you cannot do anything, like you are sick, you still can do good. You can say a prayer.
Yes.
Right? Is it wrong to study other people's faults? My dog loves gossiping. He's always in the window looking at somebody else's life. But it is wrong to study other people's faults.
Ana, how I can say in English que eu não posso tacar pedra porque meu telhado é de vidro?
Oh, I cannot throw stones at somebody else because I have a glass roof.
Yes.
On top. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. Precisely. So
I live in a greenhouse. There we go. I can't throw stones because I live in a greenhouse.
In a
Oh,
glass
there you
house.
go, in a
In
glass
a
Well,
house.
glass
exactly.
house.
A glass
A
house. That's what
glass house.
greenhouses are made of.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
Giles.
Giles, would you please read the answer for us?
Wow, it's long. Okay.
It's long, yes.
To do so merely for the sake of criticizing or exposing other people is wrong, because it demonstrates a lack of charity. To do so for your own benefit to avoid replicating those flaws may sometimes be useful.
About 5 minutes ago.
Be useful?
Sorry, there was. So it may sometimes be useful, but you must not forget that understanding the faults of others is one of the elements of charity. Before criticizing others for their flaws, you should look at yourself and see if others could criticize you for the same faults. Yeah, then we'd all stay in bed. The only way to profit by such a critical examination of others' faults is by trying to acquire the opposite virtues. Are you those who criticize cheap? Be generous. Are they proud? Try to be humble and modest. Are they callous? Be gentle. Are they cruel and petty? Be great in everything that you do. Basically, act in such a way so that it may not be said of you, in Jesus' words, that you see the speck in your neighbor's eye, but do not see the beam in your own. The Spirit's Book, 903.
That's the answer to the 903. Any
Yeah,
comment on
long and
that?
careful. And of course, the main difficulty with trying to judge other people is that no matter how advanced you are, you have no damn idea what is behind people's behavior, because they have had 1,000 lifetimes like you have had, or is it 10?
Mhm.
And you cannot know unless you are really advanced. Somebody like Satya Sai Baba, he can talk about somebody's faults all day and we listen rapt. But a lesser being talking about other people's faults, no matter how, is not a worthwhile activity. And anyway, if you become police, you become very cynical if you work a long time just looking at criminal things. Sorry.
Thank you, Giles. Gloria.
I wasn't going to comment on that. I was just going to ask if you would say something about the Florida meeting before we leave today.
Oh, next Saturday, I will.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Hi, Safe.
Yes, I've studied a book on St. Stephen's experience with my priest talking to Stephen over a 7-year period. And he said, do not judge because you never know the reasons behind that person. You do not know what has gone into making that person the way they are. So when you
Exactly.
judge, you do not have all the reasons why. So yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what Giles said. Yeah, I agree.
Hyacinth, you mentioned a book. Could you put the name of the author and the title in the chat? Hyacinth. Okay, well then you've got to hold it up for long enough for me to make a photograph of it.
Michael Cox.
No, I'm not there yet. Where's the chat thing? Snip. Give me a new snip. Now I'm getting there. Okay, I got it. Thank you. Got the picture.
Good. And that picture is the stoning of Stephen in the glass window in the Anglican Church in Stockholm.
Yeah. Thank you, Hyacinth.
That's right. Yes.
Gloria, please.
What Hyacinth just said, and what Giles said before, that's true of ourselves too. Frequently, I will do something and I have no idea why I did that. And it's because something was working on me unconsciously from the past. Maybe, a previous abuse as a child, or a previous relationship where I was betrayed. And so I'll react, if I'm not really conscious, I'll react out of that past experience instead of being present, conscious in the moment and dealing with what's actually going on there. I'm running it through my filter. And I think it's really important that we be compassionate with ourselves in those cases and not just other people, because I think we're all very quick to forgive others, and we're very hard. I am very hard on myself.
Yeah, that's precisely one of the challenges that I proposed, I suggested to myself, as a beginning of the year planning. That's exactly what I'm trying to do this year, not being judgmental to others, but also to myself in all levels, not only speaking evidently, but even thinking or feeling. I will try to be as conscious as possible. So that's my challenge of the year. All right, folks. So any other comment? If not, I will adjourn here. It's 4:14, so it's time to go ahead. But let me tell you, I'm very pleased to see you all. And I hope just to see you all next Saturday. I will talk about other events that will happen in April here in US. Okay?
It's
Right.
like watching a dream. It's a dream to see you guys out there. Having seen you in person and seen you in imagination. This is just miraculous madness. That's all. I still can't get over it. It's like a dream I went into and woke up from, and then somebody poked me and said, "No, that was real."
Yes.
Yes.
Has anyone heard from Annie?
No.
No, not a word. She obviously got very angry at something, and we don't really